All right, guys, it's Phil, and I'm back, and I'm here to tell you about what I watched this week. I watched one old movie and a couple from this year. Now, before we go on, I need you all to like and subscribe to this page, hit the little bell, get video alerts because I can't make these videos every week. I wish I had the time and money to. In fact, if you want to help me out with that, you can click on the link in the description and support this page. And don't forget to go to my blog, brazuza.wordpress.com. And thank you everyone who watched the last video about the Rambo franchise that I did with my buddy Pete. That was a lot of fun. We watched all of the Rambos and ranked them. Star Trek is coming soon, so watch out for that. But anyway, let's get to it. Now, Match Point is a movie that incredibly I had never seen. And I say incredibly because I'm a huge Woody Allen fan. I've seen a whole lot of his movies. I mean, the guy's got like 47 movies or something like that. Maybe I've seen 12 of them. But still a lot of movies to watch from one director, regardless of their um, movie output. But for whatever reason, I kind of skipped. After deconstructing Harry, I don't remember seeing many of his movies until Midnight in Paris. I think that was the first one that I went back to the theater to see. So this one just kind of fell by the wayside, although friends always told me, oh, I love this movie, I love this movie. And people that weren't always Woody Allen fans. And I think that has a little bit to do with why they love this movie so much. And why I thought it was just, well, I don't want to say it was just okay. It was actually really good. But it was a retread of so many other Woody Allen movies in the sense of its theme. And I even put a little picture up there of Play It Again Sam, which goes way back, where Allen, he writes a lot about this love triangles, or this love tryst, where he's with someone, but he really, really wants to be with that person he can't be with. And maybe that has something to do with some of his choices in his personal life, but I don't want to get into Alan's personal life. But that's a thing that goes on over and over and over. There are tons of movies, comedies and dramas, where Alan plays with this idea of either being a single guy who just happens to fall in love with his best friend's wife, or he's married and is falling in love with somebody else, or soon to be married and falls in love with somebody else. And that's basically the story of Match Point. It is this tennis instructor happens to was an ex-tennis player turned tennis instructor, gets a student who he befriends. The student's sister really likes him, but when he meets this girl Nola for the first time, he's hot and heavy for her, but it ends up Nola is his student's and soon-to-be brother-in-law's fiance. So there you go. That's the classic Woody Allen love triangle or love tangle. And it was just, again. So perhaps that's what it was. This movie does feel a little bit different stylistically than other Woody Allen movies. It doesn't have him in it, for one. It's in London. And it has Scarlett Johansson, which is gorgeous. So maybe that attracted a different audience that maybe Allen doesn't always attract, and maybe people that had never seen a Woody Allen movie before, or maybe just parts of some. And for this reason, it was like, wow, Match Point is a classic. I thought it was a solid movie. I mean, I took a break halfway through it to go eat something. So it just didn't feel like anything special if you're a big Woody Allen fan and you've seen all or a lot of Woody Allen movies. You're just like, okay, it would be almost like if Scorsese does a million versions of the gangster movie. Some of them are incredible, and then you watch one that's just like, well, yeah, I've seen that before. It was good. I mean, it's fucking Scorsese, and the guy knows how to make a damn movie, but kind of like seeing that, been there, done that. Maybe Tarantino and The Hateful Eight. No, well, not that bad actually. Uh, so good movie. I give it 2 thumbs up, despite all the things I just said about how I felt about it. It didn't really excite me. It's got a nice, crazy ending. And it deals with another Woody Allen theme, in fact, which is it all chance? Nothing really makes sense. Woody Allen is an absurdist. So that's another theme that we've seen a million times before uh, in Woody Allen movies before 2005. So, yeah, that's my review of Match Point. Watch it. The man who said I'd rather be lucky than good saw deeply into life. So, that's another theme in the movie. Luck, luck, luck. But let's move on. This is a quick video. And we're going to move on to Crawl. I was going to say Creep. But we're thinking Crawl, guys. This is not Sharknado. This is Alligator. Well, I guess is there a tornado or just a hurricane? Alligator Cane. And basically, we got ourselves a bad storm. And in this bad storm, some alligators are taken to shore. And Haley Keller, a student athlete played by Kaya Scodelario, decides to stay in town because they're evacuating, right? And she decides to stay in town to find her dad, Dave Keller, played wonderfully by Barry Pepper. Actually, wonderfully when he's with his daughter. I think the two of them are really good together. By themselves, they're kind of boring, but together they have really good chemistry. And so we do have this father-daughter subplot going on, which is cute. It's not anything extremely deep or incredible, but it gives the movie a bit of soul, which is cool because the movie's absolutely ridiculous and stupid, and it's 2 steps away from being a Sharknado, which is so bad. It's good, by the way. I just watched Sharknado for the first time, actually, a couple weeks ago, and I had fun with it, as stupid as it was. But this movie could have definitely just been that, bad CGI, and I thought the CGI was kind of crappy. I know some people, or some critics said it was kind of good. I didn't think it was that good, the alligator CGI. But it could have definitely gone down that level, but it grounds itself in the relationship between his daughter and her father, and the little dog is cute. I give this movie 2 thumbs up. Get some popcorn, get some Coke, Coca-Cola, and have fun with it. There's not much more to say about this movie. It's well paced. It manages to expand on itself, which is kind of cool because for the first maybe 30 minutes or so, I thought that it was going to be one of these stuck in a house type movie, and it was nice how they were able to take us to other parts of the neighborhood and not just be stuck in this one setting, which was actually, it was being done well, but I think it would have gotten old quickly if they had just kept the movie all in this one setting. So I'm glad that they expanded it. I wish it would have been a bit gorier. Thing is, you only got 2 characters. It's the father and the daughter. So how much gore can you show? Because they're alligators. In fact, some of the stuff was unbelievable, like the alligator chomping down on, I think it was the girl's leg and swinging her around, and she still got her leg afterward. I mean, these alligators have powerful bites, people. I mean, I don't know. There was a lot of plot shield going on with daddy and daughter, although daddy kind of got fucked up at the end. There were a few peripheral characters that got eaten a little bit better, but it could have shown it more, especially when you get to the end and you see what happens to daddy, and you're like, man, could have gone there from the beginning. I think that would have made it even better than it was. Overall, though, it's like a C plus, going like just almost wishing it was a B. Fun movie though. There's nothing bad to say about it because it knows what it is. It's not trying to be more than it is, and it's worth a watch, guys. And then finally, da-dun, da-dun, especially for those that follow me on Talking Films and know how much I hated Hereditary, and I really did. I mean, um, except for Tony Collette, which I thought was incredible, and the imagery. I mean, the guy's a good director. This Ari guy here, or what's his name, Ari Asner. He's a good director. He knows how to set up a shot. Ari Aster, sorry, and he's got a lot of ideas. He's got a lot of really good ideas, in fact. And it's kind of exciting to watch him coming up, Jordan Peele coming up, like these two interesting hard directors who've got a lot of great ideas and sometimes miss. But even while they're missing, you're like, yeah, but I like where he's going. So Hereditary, I gave like 1 star to. I watched it in the movie theater. I'm sitting there for like 1 hour. I'm like, oh shit, there's more. There's another hour of this because the movie wasn't going anywhere. And I don't want to make this a Hereditary trash review. I'm only bringing it up because as much as I disliked Hereditary, one, I did like the director or the direction, some of the shots. I did like what the director was trying to do, although I don't think he accomplished it. I think he was juggling too many themes, too many ideas at once, and wasn't able to really focus on one. Therefore, the movie didn't have that much impact for me. Because of this, though, because of the few positives that I saw, I decided I'm going to watch Midsommer. I actually was going to watch it in the theater here, but in Brazil, in case you don't know, I'm in Brazil. The theater version of it is only going to come out like in November. I don't know why, but okay, whatever. I got the DVD copy online, watched it last night, and what do I have to say about it? 1 thumb up. I'll give it 1 thumb up. 1 thumb up and 1 thumb down. Although I'd give it like maybe 1.5 thumb up. Well, it actually wasn't that bad. It kept my attention all the way through. I thought it was beautifully shot. Like I said, the guy's talented, man. He's really talented. He knows how to set up a shot. But again, where I think he fails, but I think he's going to hopefully blossom into a really great director. But where I think he fails is he's an idea man. And idea men aren't always great story men. Looking at you, George Lucas, looking at you, Chris Carter, and even Gene Roddenberry. These guys were great idea people, but they didn't know. They didn't always know what made good drama, right? They didn't always know how to put conflict between two characters so that we have good drama. Because they. Sorry about that. So I feel the same way about Ari. He's got a lot of great ideas, but when I think back on all these characters in this movie that I spent 2 hours with, I didn't really care about any of them. I didn't care if any of them survived or died. It was kind of clear that they were all going to die because that's kind of what happens in these types of movies. You go out in the middle of nowhere, and one by one, they start plucking you off. Even we were introduced to a couple when we did get all the way up over there to Sweden. By the way, short version of the plot here. This girl's family dies. Her sister commits suicide, but she takes the parents along. She's already kind of has a weird relationship with her boyfriend Chris. And Chris and his boys from the university, they are trying to go over to Sweden with their friend. Speaking of Jordan Peele, I think the guy's name is Peele also. Let me see here. Yeah, Peele. They decide they're going to go over to Peel's village to take part of the Midsommer festivities. And when they get there, things slowly unravel into whatever the fuck. Because it's weird. It's not played for like slasher type, like Friday the 13th. Let's all go out to camp, to the lake, and then one by one they all get picked off. But you get this sense of dread, or what's another movie like that? I can't think of one right off the top of my head. But or maybe even Get Out. Maybe speaking of Jordan Peele, where he does go out there, although it's only him. There aren't more people being picked apart, but it's clear in the movie through the direction that something is off about this place. But it's very clear, and the character feels it. These characters, well, they're white, so they don't really notice that something is really fucked up. That's a joke, by the way, with the white people, because black folks always say, man, there's a reason there are not that many black folk in horror movies, because the minute we see something's off, man, we get the fuck out of there. And there were many things off in this little beautiful village, including a end of life cycle ceremony that's really fucked up. And I know the minute that I saw that, my ass would be gone. I wouldn't be waiting for the truck. I wouldn't be waiting for the next ride. If I had to walk, I would walk. I would say, let's go, people. We are out of here. But, of course, them being white folks, a couple brown-skinned people there, they decide to just say, well, it's just part of their culture. It's just part of their tradition. Let's hang around and see what else is part of their tradition. Yeah. But anyway, going back, like, I'm thinking of the movie now. Like, I thought it was beautifully shot. I thought it was well acted enough. The main girl, Florence Pugh, who plays Danny, is a really good actress. Uh, yeah, I thought it was well put together. Better put together than Hereditary. Let's put it that way. I think the editing, although I think this movie might have been a little bit longer, it's like 2.5 hours, but it didn't feel as like it dragged on as much as Hereditary. But I think it's because it was a bit more focused. Hereditary, like I said, was all over the place. It wanted to be a psychological thriller. It wanted to be like a study on grief, but didn't. I wish it would have done that more. It didn't really go there. It wanted to be Poltergeist, but it touched on it and then dropped it and then brought it back up at the end. It wanted to be a little bit of Rosemary's Baby. I don't know, maybe. It wanted to be a whole lot of stuff, but it wasn't focused enough to get us from point A to point B, or get me at least, in a satisfactory manner. This movie at least was focused. Now, the story was pretty simplistic. I mean, it's basically this, if you look at it outside of the quote-unquote horror aspect, and I believe I read an article that said Aria was going through a breakup at the time. It's a catharsis moment for the main character, especially given the decision she makes at the very end regarding her boyfriend and what happens to him. That's basically what it is. I mean, she becomes the as you can see from the trailers and the main the posters, she becomes the May Queen. She goes there and she finds a part of herself that she didn't know she had. But it's very simplistic, and like I said, yeah, it's a sort of a emotional revenge story at the end. I don't know if the boyfriend necessarily deserved it, especially because he was drugged and kind of impulsed into doing some of the stuff that he did. Try not to give too much away, guys, as far as spoilers. But should you watch it? That's the main thing. First of all, who am I to tell you what you should or shouldn't watch? I'm just gonna say that it's worth a watch. It was enjoyable. It's not a classic. it's not something that's stuck with me, or it's going to stick with me. It wasn't really scary at all. Um, Maybe Hereditary was a little bit scarier, a little bit more suspenseful. And Ari, I think, is a director that you should be looking out for. I mean, if he can get a good editor and if he can get a good writing partner, because like I said, he's got a lot of great ideas, but he doesn't have like the meat, you know? Going back, like I watched back to back, Match Point versus Ari. Okay, we're comparing anybody to Woody Allen. It's like a losing battle for the anybody else. But there's some basic things that Woody Allen does in his movies that anyone can do in theirs to make it better. And one is give characters motivation. I mean, I guess the only character that had real motivation in this whole thing was the Swedish guy who invited his friends over there. We find out in the end. Um, but, the one guy wants to do his thesis on Midsommer. I guess that's motivation for him to go over there, but it, it doesn't give me anything about him. Like, who is he? Is he a coward? Is he an asshole? Is he chivalrous? Is he conniving? What is this guy? I just know that he wants to write a thesis on Midsummer. The boyfriend decides he wants to too midway through the movie. Um, the one guy just wants to fuck a bunch of Swedish girls, and which I believe his name is Simon, or no, Simon is the Brit guy he's there with his girlfriend, and well, I believe it's Mark, played by Will Poulter. He just wants to fuck some Swedish girl. So it's very adolescent style writing. It is very Friday the 13th level writing, but trying to, because of the guy, he's talented. He knows how to put together a shot. Trying to make it artsy and borderline pretentious. Not, Hereditary for me was way pretentious. But borderline pretentious, borderline, look at all the stuff I can do behind the camera. It was borderline that, but with characters that are in average slasher flick, Halloween 5, whatever, Friday the 13th level characters as far as caricatures. And thing is, even those characters from those, 80s slasher movies, you feel a little bit something for. They got soul. The good ones do at least. They got soul. You feel for them. You're like, yeah, I'm rooting for them. You're not really rooting for any of these people in this movie. You're just kind of going along for the ride, which you kind of figure what it is, 20 minutes into the movie, because that's where most of these movies go anyway. Okay, they're out in the middle of fucking nowhere with a bunch of Children of the Corn looking motherfuckers. People are gonna die, right? How they're gonna die, okay, that's the part that can become a bit interesting, and you can stylize it however you want, but people are gonna die. And for these reasons, I'm rambling on here. So for these reasons, I don't think it's a great movie. I think it's worth a watch, again, because it's cool to see the progression of a filmmaker, the same way you see the progression of a young filmmaker like John Peel, in the same way that, I probably would have been really excited had I been born at the time, watching the very first, the couple first Scorsese movies, and see, oh my God, look how good this movie is, and how better this movie is, and how better, and how he's developing. Or even if you watch early Spike Lee, you see all the talents there. Maybe it hasn't all gelled, and maybe Do the Right Thing was when it finally, now it all came together. Even though the movies before you can appreciate, and there's stuff in there that you really like, but it all came together at that point. So Ari, he's there. He's like, he just needs to get all the pieces together. He needs to get a good editor. He needs to, maybe you don't need 2.5 fucking hours to tell this story. It was a pretty basic story, It really is. If you just break it down to its bare bone, it's a really basic story. And maybe a good editor and a good story guy to balance his ideas, right? So that's it, guys. That's what I got to say about Midsommer. That's all I got to say about all the movies that I watched this weekend and this week. I want to thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe and hit the bell for notification of new video. How about I do this because I look at that. I'm going to edit. Speaking of editing, how's that sound? Please like and subscribe and hit the bell for video notifications. That's what we want. Because I want this page to grow, this movie page. I want to hear you guys take on these movies. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I want to thank everybody that does go onto my personal page, brazuza.wordpress.com. I really, really, really love all your support on there. I keep getting hits every day, which is cool. Some days it's 10 hits, 15 hits. Some days it's 100 hits, which is really cool, guys. So thank you all who follow me there. Bring your friends over to the YouTube page. Also, The Walking Dead is starting very, very soon. So watch out for my Walking Dead post episode recap slash reactions. I always get them, although I forgot to do one for the last episode of last season, but I got a lot of views on a lot of those videos, so thank you for that. And I'm done thanking everybody. I want to say good night or good morning, good afternoon, wherever it is you may be listening, and until next time.